Back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for joining me today on the 26th of October, 2023. Here on the Moneybag 73 channel. It's been a little while. I was in California for a month taking care of my mom who was sick with pneumonia. She was in the hospital a couple weeks, but she's getting better, and I'm back in Arizona. So I came across something I wanted to share. I was actually on Twitter, and someone had mentioned that the Mandela Effect didn't happen prior to 2014. And I sent the woman a clip of 2001 that I have on my channel of Art Bell on Coast to Coast talking about the Mandela Effect in 2001. And I've heard that he talked about it in 1999. I can't find that clip, but I believe it's always been happening. And without, before the internet, it was really difficult to discuss the Mandela Effect or to research it or what have you. But here is a 1947 Brooklyn Eagle article that I wanted to share, and gives us a glimpse into how it would be dealing with the Mandela Effect back in 1947. So let me know if you think this was a Mandela Effect down below, and then also tell me when you think that the Mandela Effect started, if it has always been happening, or it started in 2012, or it started in 2014 like the woman was saying, or whatever. Just comment down below. But let's get into this here. Heffernan says, was he Phineas or Phileas? When one of my readers informed me by letter that the name of the Jules Verne's globe-trotting hero was Phileas, not Phineas Fogg, it occurred to me that my memory had slipped a cog. So I included his correction in one of my columns and sent the copy to the office. Then things began to happen. The scholarly colleague who handles my copy called me up on the phone and declared with emphasis that I was right and my critic was in error. He had spoken to half a dozen persons who had read the book, and each one of them remembered that the name was Phineas. More than that, he had found in the record room an editorial written 2 decades ago in which there was a reference to Phineas Fogg. He did, however, find in the Reader's Digest of Books the name of the London clubman given as Phileas Fogg. Nevertheless, he was not convinced, so we left the question open until an authentic copy of the story could be found. I happened to be chatting with the principal of one of our high schools who had been a professor of English literature and who had been listed by an eminent authority as one of the 3 great educators of our age. I asked him if he remembered Around the World in 80 Days. He had read it 40 years ago. I asked him the name of the hero. His brow puckered for a minute. I suggested that the name was Fogg. Yes, Phineas Fogg, he said. Then I told him what had occurred, and he hunted up his Reader's Digest books. And there he found the name Phileas. But I'm sure that's a mistake, was his comment. So it went with everyone to whom I put the question. The vote was unanimously for Phineas. Up in Oswegatchie, I was discussing the matter with a couple of scholars. We passed a little public library. The man at the wheel stopped and went in. He emerged with a volume entitled The Omnibus Jules Verne. Although I could find no date of publication, the volume was new, and there were indications that it came off the press in the 30s. 4 of the Verne stories were between the covers, and turning to the Round the World one, I read Mr. Phileas Fogg lived in 1872 at number 7 Savile Row, Burlington Gardens, the house in which Sheridan died in 1814. He was one of the most noticeable members of the Reform Club, though he seemed always to avoid attracting attention, an enigmatical personage about whom little was known except that he was a polished man of the world. People said he resembled Byron. At least his head was Byronic. But he was a bearded, tranquil Byron who might live on 1,000 years without growing old. There was Phileas, the identical personage of the Phineas of my memory. Now, why did so many share my misapprehension? If misapprehension it was, it'd be called confabulation now, or misattribution of memory, or misremembering. My office colleague has a theory. It is that, oh yeah, he's one of those guys. Yeah, everyone's got a theory. There's always these guys say, oh, well, you're thinking of Mr. Peanut. Yeah, okay, tell that to the people over there in the UK. They don't know Mr. Peanut advertising for the Monopoly Man's monocle. Anyway, okay, so let's see what this guy's got to say. It's that early editions of this story contain the name Phineas. Yeah, probably not. Verne lived until 1905, although born in 1824. Around the World in 80 Days, one of the 100 tales from his pen, was published in 1874. So this is quite interesting. Let me know what you think down below. You know, I've been wanting to do voting videos, but I'm not seeing anything. Or I know I see people do shows and they're pointing out a lot of stuff, but I don't want to just, talk about things that maybe not. I used to be hit hard with the Mandela Effect, and it hasn't seemed to be happening. But, I've been affected by at least like 800 changes. It's something I think about daily. Every single day for almost 8 years, I've been thinking about this Mandela Effect. And, it's absolutely ludicrous for people to say everyone's misremembering. We all know that. It's just totally ridiculous. So, let's see. What else can I talk about here? We got... the film is still happening. I need to talk to Bob. I spoke a couple hours with the editor while I was in California, so that it's being worked on. Can't wait for a film to come out that shows reality residue that so many of us have been digging up and finding for the past 8 years. Evidence basically that shows that there's something strange happening that a lot of people can't seem to deal with or want to accept, but the Mandela Effect definitely is not going away. It's just continuing to spread. I keep seeing people say, oh my God, can you believe Looney Tunes isn't spelled Tons? It's like, whoa, man, that's like 8 years ago I heard about that. There's people still just finding out about Looney Tunes and, the Monopoly Man's monocle and all the Oscar Mayer and all the stuff that was talked about years ago. So... really, really excited for this documentary film. It's going to show that, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to show to a lot of people that, man, there's obviously something happening here. So we have that to look forward to, and I'll try and make some more videos. I've really missed working on YouTube and making, communicating with all of you. I really miss that. I think about it all the time. And so I'll try and be a little more active. Hope everyone's doing well. Go create the reality that you want. And I'll be back with everybody soon.